Hey guys, welcome to the Centre Bounce on this. What is round 20, Thursday 5:30 stream. Joe is away, but we are joined by Brad, the Supercoach Pro. How you doing, mate? Thanks for jumping on.
No worries, mate. Yeah, I'm pretty well. Just chilling. Worked all day like the rest of us, but yeah, how you doing?
Yeah, really good, really good. I found the last few weeks, I don't know when you ran out of trades, but I've run out of trades, I think maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. And I found the last couple of weeks of Supercoach just really somber. Just being like, yeah, whatever happens, like life sucks, a player gets injured. Oh, well, I can't do anything, so it doesn't matter. Is that how it's been kind of for you, or are you still beating yourself up? I wish I got this guy in my team. I wish I had this, blah, blah, blah.
Not necessarily. I mean, I've got one trade left, but I'm probably more beating myself over the fact that I just can't do anything with my side. So, like, I've got Tristan Terry and Rosie, and they're both out. So, by getting rid of one, I just use the flex to cover it. So, I've sort of just got a little bit of bad luck. I've had a pretty good ranking most of the season, and I've dropped out the last, I'd say, month of football. But it's all been purely about just injuries and stuff like that, or just a shit VC. So nothing I can really do about it other than hope the last 5 weeks go quickly.
Yeah, I've found this season especially, and something, maybe I'll just start them. But, excuse me, this year especially, I've really been punished by not having the best players on each line. Like, for most of the season, you feel like, oh, cool, I've got like a Caldwell, even before being injured. I've got a Caldwell, he'll score me 110 each week. And then you guys got guys like Connor Rosie before injury, or Butters, things like that just go massive. And it's just like, oh, well, I've got a full Primo team. You've got the same. But this week you've got 8 players scoring 150 and I've got 2. So it's a big difference.
Yeah, I found it sort of a little bit the reverse with like I've got Richards and Hewitt. So when they do poorly and then a player like Rao and Dacos or players like that go well, then I'm really in the shit. But other than that, I haven't really been too worried about, sort of missing a player or two, because even with like a, best of each line scenario or close to, there's always going to be a couple of players you miss. So I don't really care about that. I more care about nailing the VC and C for me. And I think only 2 weeks out of the last, whatever it's been, almost 20 weeks now, that I've had 2 shit ones. And one of them was 2 weeks ago with Rosie as bloody captain. So yeah, that killed me.
Yeah, I had Cherry last week. It was not fun sitting there watching him get beat up after the, probably should have got taken off for the concussion. And then, excuse me, just not scoring that well. Yeah, bit of a rough one. Would you next year? So it's something I've been thinking about, like probably start stacking the back line and forward line, getting as many guys you would consider to be keepers in there. Would you do as part of your trade strategy to actually say, well, middle of the season, come round 10, we're going to get a bunch of primos that are underpriced, like a Matt Rowell at 440K. I'm just going to get the best guys I want and then jump on these guys when they're insanely cheap. It's not something that I've normally thought about. But this year especially, there's so many guys that were crazy cheap like 6 weeks ago, or even 8 weeks ago, that you could have jumped on. And then you'd be flying right now.
Yeah, I think it's all about timing. But in reality too, like those players that we talk about that you sort of do hate missing out on, you're better off starting them. But we had no choice of not starting, Butters or Bonds. So they're 2 players I wanted all preseason and couldn't get them. So probably more frustrating is, yeah, you do got to pay up sometimes, but I think this year I overpaid for players like Sheasel and stuff like that. So what he's learned is definitely go value during the buys and don't kill your team, because I've paid stupid 600K for Merit. And I think 3 players over about 600,000. So I think that's what's ruined my side. Other than that, I think every year we sort of fall from the same mistakes the year after anyway, regardless of what we say now.
I'm just thinking to myself, don't start too many risky picks like we did this year with Roberts and Perryman. Like, who the hell is Perryman? Really? At December, no one knew about Perryman. No one gave a shit about Perryman. Come March, it was like everyone must have Perryman in their team. And then it just kind of fell apart. Even like Jaden Short, I think, was talking about it in my team review last night. I think I set myself up to have about 32 trades after 3 weeks. just because my starting team was so poor that all the risky picks were out of the side after the first couple of weeks.
I think in regards to that though, like you look at it, like you've got to look at it a month block, so you can't like be so hot and cold over the first 3 or 4 weeks of the football. You got to sort of let them play out. So, you know, we say these players are traps or whatever that we might think they are, but if you look at a month or two data, there's probably no real need to be trading out these players first month. Like unless there's a real guy that you've like, all right, I didn't know he was actually going to pull his finger out. He's had a limited preseason, but he's come out and hit a 170. That's probably a different scenario. But definitely something to think about next preseason.
Yeah, it seems like we always get suckered into 1 or 2 picks as well, where maybe not a Richmond, but like a Collingwood rests half their good players in the preseason games. So, Jimmy's going to go really well. He's doing this, And then like Pendlebury comes back and Nick Dacos comes back and the forward line comes back and then Crisp and Jordan DeGoey comes back. It's like, well, he's gone back to 60s, boys. Maybe a little bit like Ed Richards pre-Bont as well. So, yeah, bit of a rough one, but we'll take it as it comes. Craig, how you doing, Craig? There you go. Holla, Big J and the SC Pro ring in. Clowns SC, haven't seen you back for a while. Top 2 players to start next year from the both of you, not including rookies. You want to go first or do you want me to go first?
You go first while I still think about this.
All right. So I think automatic start next year. I think next year is going to be an interesting one because this year we've been granted quite a lot with the likes of Bailey Smith and stuff having DPP, which I don't think will happen as much. Maybe Rankin will keep it. Maybe someone like a Matt Kennedy will keep it in our forward lines. Number 1 start for me, probably someone like a Nazaya, I think is a number 1 start. Regardless of price, he's just in a really interesting position in the team where it allows Sinclair to play midfield, play wherever, but Nazaya is basically playing like just kickouts and then even taking CBAs now. So I think he's a must-have. I don't see myself, depending on price, not starting Bontempelli, Nick Dacos, and Butters as well, regardless of price. I think I might just go 4 big uns at the start of the team, just go 4 primo mids, stack everywhere else. If it means I have 4 rookies on field, okay. And then go from there. So, yeah, what about you?
Yeah, I think they're quite common players that people be thinking about for sure. So I think you hit the nail on the head. They're probably looking at 2 other guys. I mean, Nass is a great shout. I do love that pick, of course. My one's actually Finn Callahan. I think he can build on the year that he built on this year. A little bit left field, but I think like this year, what set me apart was actually starting a few left field picks like an Ed Richards. The other guy you're going to probably shake your head at and think, what am I talking about? But I actually think Luke Jackson's going to be valuable next year just for R3 swing. Like I'm going to grab an R3 that's, going to have forward DPP and sit Jackson, at F6 to cover these, shitty scenarios where we have Tristan Cherry pretending to be a UFC fighter. Jackson would be great to just swing him there because now I'm just using flex. But I think Jackson next year, regardless of how much split time he will have with Darcy, is my kind of guy that I'm thinking of next year.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting too because I think in the last couple of years we've always been saved by, I guess, a North Melbourne newly acquired player or player in the wrong position in Supercoach playing down back, taking kick-ins and whatnot. We might just not get that next year. So someone like a Jackson to just be like, cool, forward line rookies are always crap. I don't think we really had one averaging much outside of Ashcroft and then Pal Pepper for a period of time too. So you can start 5 or 6 there.
Davis was a good shout at the start of the year. Yeah.
Definitely early. We might just be like, cool, set and forget in the forward line, grab, your midfielders that are forward eligible. Someone like Jackson, who I've never started, but imagine if Sean Darcy left the team. It's like, hey, Jacko, you're forward eligible, mate. Get in my side. So 100% there.
Yep, I agree.
Corey says here, it feels like it's dragged the last 5. Yeah, just those 5 buys. I hope next year we go back to 4. I feel like they won't. I feel like they'll keep 5. For scheduling points, I think as well, not having a week where like 8 teams are out in a single week probably is really good for them too. But just Supercoach wise, it's a lot of trades to spend. And I think we got suckered a little bit into like having, oh, cool, we can now spend 15 trades in this period of time. how many people left the buys with like 1 or 2 trades. It's a bit rough.
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
Had Rosie captain, Dawson back the last couple of weeks. There you go. G-Bags, how you going, mate? Thoughts on the following captaincy options? Now, we normally go through a few captaincy options on the channel, as well as kind of our tips and stuff as the trades drop. Sorry, as the team sheets drop. But thoughts on the following captaincy options? Bont versus Essendon, who I've currently got. I'm not sure about you. Nazaya, Dacos, Gorn, Brayshaw, and Baz. I like Bont. Bont VC is pretty good. Nazaya versus Melbourne, I think will do very well. Nick Dacos, are you hot on the Nick Dacos versus Richmond this week?
Absolutely, probably double tunning. I'd go Bont into Dacos if I had any player in Supercoach overall this week.
Okay. Well, there you go. That's a lock then. That's who I've currently got. Yeah. So Bont into Dacos. There you go. For me, it's Brett Daniels. If a full preseason will be super cheap, maybe one to jump on, like the Pal Pepper from this year. Hopefully comes in at the sub 200K mark, and then we're good to go. Bello, g'day boys. Not sold on Naz next year if he heads to South Australia. Ooh. Do you think? I guess kind of as well. If he does leave, do you think he will keep his scoring? Like you know, you always hear marry, like marry, fuck, kill. You heard those kind of ones, yeah. So, do you think that he will score the same, score worse, or not really be an option if he moves to South Australia?
I think he'll score about the same, if not just with his age and getting better as the season goes on. I think he could do slightly better. I don't think it really matters where he heads. Like he's just a talented player. Probably depends on the role more. Like you probably want him in the back line taking kickouts over midfield if you're talking about Supercoach points. And thoughts on Heaney next year? I've got no interest in Heaney whatsoever, to be honest, this or next year, regardless of how well he's been playing recently.
Yeah, Velo, I think the same for me too. Maybe not starting Heaney, but if Heaney drops to 500K, I think Sydney's a weird team. Warner does okay, Goulden does okay, and then you've got games like last week where Heaney goes massive as well. So have you found Sydney pretty hard to predict kind of their midfield and everything like that? Obviously outside of Grundy as being probably a must-have selection.
Yeah, I do find it a strange team in Supercoach in general with Sydney. I feel like they're almost irrelevant, barring Grundy, to be honest. But I just think Cox sort of hasn't worked out his team yet anyway. I mean, the more players they get back from injury, the better they look. But for me, if I'm selecting any player in the Sydney side next year, it's Goulden. And then, obviously Grundy, but Heaney's probably third on the list if I had to, give it an order.
Definitely. I mean, like he hasn't played the gone bed pattern in the last few weeks either, even though he's getting 30-odd touches in the VFL, and potentially I've heard causing them to lose games. So maybe that's a thing. But yeah, it's just I agree, right? His new coach, new team. I think Sydney themselves are in a little bit of a transition period, figuring out, post Parker, what happens with guys like Sheldrick and stuff. So yeah, it's an interesting statement there. Not sure if Jackson gets forward DPP, playing a bit mid-ruck for this season. We'll see. Would Day be worth it? Now, your thoughts are, we'll get to some more comments and stuff, but your thoughts on starting what seems to be these really perpetually injured players. Whitfield always gets injured at some point. Tom Stewart always gets injured at some point. Caldwell has now had 2 seasons of being injured. Who else is on that list that's kind of like, they're good players, but I just can't trust their durability?
I think you named most of them, and even we're talking about
Callum Mills.
Yeah.
Callum Mills, yeah.
I think obviously what you're alluding to is like you start these injury-prone players, but you don't bring them in. So I've got no interest in Will Day regardless. So he's cooked for me.
Yeah, no, I think so too. Good player, good for draft if you can get him with a late pick. But Supercoach-wise, especially starting the season, you want to start the best players you can. We've been burnt so much by these kind of, I guess it'll be 400K, little bit more type players, and they rarely work out, barring a George Hewitt that was 500K. So there you go. I think next year as well, a lot of us got suckered into a Harry Boyd. Did you have Boyd to start the season?
Yeah, I did. I completely got sucked into that too. I just think the R3, regardless of if we think it's going to make cash or whatnot, it just becomes invaluable as soon as they get dropped, because that R3, honestly, has got to be an F swing, because it's just shit house waiting for these R3s to finally pop off and make money. Like we've had in the seasons past, but you get all this preseason talk about, player X we're going to chop out this season, we'll use him 30%. So you think, oh yeah, cool, I'm going to make 200K off. That R3 position, but unless you've got like a Flinny boy or something like that, it just feels like it's not even worth it at all, to be honest, with R3. Like it's, especially with flex, I just don't think R3 is valuable unless you're swinging forward players between there to cover a 1 or 2 week injury.
Yeah, I guess kind of an Archer Reed at that R3 spot, but then again, he has DPP anyway, so kind of figures that out. Maybe if he went ballsy and got a Flynn at R3 this year, would have made yourself 150K, but then you're losing out because you're spending more on an R3 that's not scoring your points and stuff as well. So, yeah, a bit rough. VC, Bont or Grundy? Scared Durham goes to Bont. What do you reckon from Alex?
Durham couldn't even tie Bont's shoelaces, I don't think, to be honest.
There you go.
I mean, Grundy's probably the guy you pick as your VC anyway, because you want to go against the grain for the last 5 weeks. So if I'm Alex, I'm going Grundy to get some leg up, then be vanilla and go Bont. I know vanilla's a bit of a shit call, but you know what I mean in this scenario.
Yeah, I guess kind of on the other side too. If you've got Grundy, I mean, what's he like 3-round average? Let me just quickly check. 3-round average of like 170. So you could end up doing okay. Let me quickly check. Brodie Grundy, the most expensive player in Supercoach. 3-round. Can you guess his 3-round average without me saying it?
155.
144.7.
Jeez,
it is bananas. It's like Max Gorn in like round 3 when he went big. That's Brodie Grundy, man. 144 average is I can see why Brodie Grundy was 500K. I can see why I've fallen down the ranks. pretty hard. So
where was this barista looking bloke last year?
There you go. It was, yeah, I've seen a lot of Gorn and Grundy 1 and 2s, and makes me feel like 2020 all over again. So feels good, you know. Hey boys, how you going, Ben? Houston is an example of going to the Pies and hurt his scoring 100%. I think Houston though was always around that 100 to 105 mark, or a little bit less. So, like, he's lost 10 points, gone to a better team, but I think more just the injuries, and he gets stuck like onto a tagging role sometimes too. Hey.
Yeah, I mean, I think Josh Dacos back there doesn't help Houston. I think Dacos was in the midfield or something like that. Maybe Houston would go back up, but Ben's made a perfect example that I didn't really think about, to be honest. But I just don't think it affects Naz. I feel like they're different players in a lot of ways, but I could be wrong, and Ben could be right. Naz could be a Houston pick for next year that sort of happens and sort of ruins his scoring potentially. But personally, I'm not worried.
Yeah, not fair. I mean, it's not going to be my. I had Josh Dacos for 2 weeks, dropped Josh Dacos, and then he's punished me last 3 weeks in a row, so that's all right. But never again with Houston. Hawks defenders, they're no midfielder. R3 must be DPP next year. I think as well, every year in Supercoach, right, for the last 3 or 4 years, we had boosts like 2 years ago, had something. Was it 40 trades last year, or was it extra boosts last year? And then this year's the flex. Do you think they'll have a year of not changing the rules in Supercoach, or are we expecting something else next year?
You'd think they'd probably want to try to keep more engagement, so maybe a couple extra trades. But then, it feels like it'd be a fantasy format, so I'm not too sure what they'd do. I'm obviously not on the inside word with that kind of stuff. But I don't know. I like it as it is. I was pretty skeptical about Flex, but I think Flex has actually helped most teams, including mine. So I can't hate Flex for what it's done for my side, but I also think it just takes a lot of strategy out of the game as well. So it's a bit of a heads and tails approach.
I think I wasn't hot on the Flex, like you're saying, but for periods of time, especially in the early parts of the season, 1 or 2 injuries can really murder a lot of teams and just set people off. Having that best 22 out of 23 saved a lot of people, including myself. And yeah, I didn't mind it at that point, regardless of being able to trade any player in and out of your side and move players around. The triple kind of swap has helped quite a lot too, I think, this year. But yeah, it's worked out all right.
Got to ask you too, what made you jump the gun on Dacos? Getting rid of him in 2 weeks, I brought in stupid Shannon Neal thinking there'd be a bit of a cash swipe there, and we all make mistakes. So I wanted to get your take on that while I've got you live anyway.
Well, it was an interesting one. I think I wasn't liking what I had seen. So I think it was twofold. I wasn't liking what I'd seen. I go to, let me find him and I'll give a bit more of a shout. This week he does play Richmond, so I think he'll go big as well.
Yeah, but probably.
I think it was like I got him in round 10. He did okay, and then he went 90 against North and then 80 against Hawthorn. And I think like Houston or someone else had come into the team. I was trying to navigate the buys maybe a little bit too much as well. What went down in price a little bit, I'm like, oh, cool, I've got this guy. He's not that great. I think I traded him for like Naz or something at around the same price. So it wasn't terrible. But yeah, just stupid decision that kind of, outside of that, I mean, round 13, he scored a 122, had quite a few 90, like high 90s, and then obviously versus Gold Coast, the massive game. So in hindsight, it's not great. Maybe I shouldn't have brought him in anyway. Could have just gone straight to someone else and then not brought him in. But obviously a bit of a silly decision trading him out. I mean, say the same thing about Thilthorpe as well when I brought him in. Didn't go well, and then I traded him out, and then cool, I've just wasted a trade. Too many of those, I think, definitely hurt me at points. But yeah, just how it goes,
Yeah, I mean, key forwards in general suck. They're so frustrating to own.
And then everyone decided that I got a bit of FOMO when Darcy went like 140 and I didn't have him in my team, and then he was 450k, and I'm like, cool, I got him in, and then the last 3 weeks I don't think he's scored over 100. So yeah, a bit it's just this season. I'll put it down to a shit year, and then we go from there really. There we go. Where are we up to? Evening, gents. How you going, Tatum? Has anyone got any left field locks? Brad?
Well, Jay, you go first. I wasn't even reading the comments above, to be honest. Do you got any ones that are left field?
Left field locks. I'm not sure. I would like to, kind of the plan, as I've alluded to before, load up in the back line. I think just general, they're very sturdy in terms of their price and their scoring and whatnot. Everyone's probably averaging 100 if you can get them in. And at 500k, that you know what you're going to get. Maybe someone like a Sheasel, depending on where he plays in position and stuff. But left field locks probably goes back to Jackson. I think next year's the first time I'll start him and then go from there. Nella Dan is saying Dan Curtin next year could be an interesting one. Ben's saying Nick Newman might be the Mills of this year, so maybe he's a bit of a lock-in with Doherty leaving as well. So, yeah. Do you have anybody before we check out the next comment?
No, not really. Maybe Lockie Ash, but he probably won't be much of a pod next year, you wouldn't think.
I reckon he will be. I mean, people didn't select him this year. Everyone goes for a Whitfield and things like that. But Lockie Ash, man, flew under the radar. No one's had him. I think he's, let me check it out quickly now, but I think his ownership still is not very high. And the guy's averaging, 110 over the last 3 rounds.
I bought him in 3 weeks ago for TDK, so he's serving well. He's gone 110, 100, and a 120.
Yeah, that's what the community team did as well. And he's just been going massive. It's only 14% of teams. So, yeah, done very, very well. Hey, Velo, pull a massive upset. Does Carlton win this week? We'll go through the tips a bit later, but does Carlton win? Can they pull an upset against Hawthorn?
Not a chance against Smash.
There you go. Can't seeing us getting upset within 5 goals. There you go. Same thing. We'll think the first quarter. Thoughts on Nando as a VC option? Dacos will be C. Look, I think Anderson will be okay, but I think there might be better VC options.
still, he's probably going to go left field for that reason, just to get a leg up. So I like Fernando. I think it's a very solid shout by him.
There you go. Michael, how you doing, Michael? Velo's heard that they reckon they're going to have 2 or 4 bye rounds with the possibility of having a state of origin in between. Yeah, interesting. Hopefully the sub rule gets scrapped. Do you think they will?
Oh, you'd hope so, but who knows with the freaking AFL. I think it'd be better for the game and better for debut players as well, because they get stitched up a lot of the time. So I hate the sub rule just as much as everybody else does.
If debut players weren't getting stitched up, if they changed it so if you're they'll never say it, but if they changed it so if you're debuting, then you can't get stitched up, do you hate it as much? Because I'm not a big negative against it. Like, hey, AFL's so close with some of these teams that if you can inject a speedy pace impact person in the last half of the game, or one of your players is looking really tired, being able to swap them out and not have a negative isn't such a bad thing. If they take away kind of that rule, would you be okay with it?
Yeah, I think getting rid of the sub would actually make it, more fair for most teams too, because you see a lot of the time too, well, not a lot, but, a player will get injured. They've already so by using their sub already, then they're down rotations quite a bit. So I think it just doesn't make sense to have a sub rule in general. Sometimes the AFL get too fancy with this kind of shit, and then we end up with this sub rule. And I don't know why they even began to bring that sort of stuff in.
It was the year before when they had the tactical sub, right? And then it was all the Geelong players. Oh, I've hurt my hammy. Get the new fresh player in. And some teams weren't shifty and other teams were. And it's like, oh, well, at least give it to everybody. So maybe they will take it away. Hey, Joe, how you going? Oh, not a bad upgrade this week, Pro.
Oh, there you go. It's probably a downgrade, to be honest, Joe. But thanks for the pump up, mate. Hopefully you're having a good time.
There you go. How's the trip going? I think Joe's upstairs. Joe is in somewhere it's a bit sunnier. So there you go. Ben, Big J, did you see Curtin is now $2 fave? Did you have someone for the Rising Star? Because I don't know if you know, but our community team, maybe 6 weeks ago, jumped on Dan Curtin at $51. And now he's $2. So, wow. Yeah, we've done all right there. Do you think Levi's got it? Do you think Curtin's got it? Who's kind of your prediction?
I think Levi's got it in the bag, but I could be wrong.
Okay. Like just overall performance? Because he has had quite a few down weeks.
Yeah, but maybe down in regards to Supercoach. But a first-year player, I think, has been very solid all season. There's periodically he's gone missing for quarters, but I don't know. I don't know who's going to win out of Curtin and Levi, but my gut says Levi anyway.
Yeah, fair enough. I think I've got Dan Curtin. I love the player. I know we've spoken off air about, hey, I wish I had Dan Curtin in the team. 150K in Supercoach, just dominating. We saw was it last week or the week before? He was like the highest rated or second highest rated Adelaide player as well. So, if you can do what he's doing at 19, it's pretty good. There you go. There's Joe. Brought in Thilthorpe, and then the next week traded him out. 100% I did. Benny, mate, hope you're doing well. Blah, blah, blah. Hayden Young, lock for 2026. Archie Roberts, what do you reckon?
Not a lock for Young for me. He's very injury prone, especially with hammies and whatnot. Yeah. Archie Roberts, actually, that's not a bad shout, to be honest. I looked at him this year and thought he'd actually be pretty good in draft, but not sure I have the balls to actually pick Archie Roberts next season. But, what about you, mate?
I think backline will come down to price for myself for a lot of players. If I can fill out my team with, $3 million, grabbing the top 6 players or close enough to it, pumping out 110, 120s every week, Bailey Dale, Naz, Holmes, Jay Clark, a couple of others. I think I'll stick to that and just let everyone else upgrade into the players that I've got in my team already. It's probably the right thing to say. Jesus questions. There you go. What a name. R3 99K rookie forward. Yeah, I don't think this year, from memory, we didn't actually have any DPP 99K players. I think the most expensive one was like 115. So a few people got chased away by that extra 20K as well. Jagger Smith, you're going to grab him next year?
Yeah, if he's ready for round one, for sure.
There you go. Geelong's paper bags. Now, I don't know about Richmond's paper bags, but Geelong's paper bags in full swing. I've heard they want Naz. I've heard they want Matt Rao. I've heard they're now after Charlie Curnow, Brad. What's happening down at Geelong? Where are they getting all this extra money?
Oh, they'll give you a farm or a beach house in Torquay or a cotton on contract on the side. So who knows? But I'm out of here anyway. I'm going to Adelaide. So yeah, stuff Geelong. I actually love Geelong, to be honest, but they used to be my second favourite side, and then I got here, and then I don't know. I've seen Chris Scott out and about once at Belmont Shopping Centre and in their Coles there, and he was just an absolute flog. So I don't know. If Chris Scott left the Cats, that'd probably be my second favourite team again.
Okay, fair enough. I guess kind of when you're in opposition territory as well, right? Kind of dealing with Geelong all the time and things like that. Have you been to many Richmond versus Geelong games at the Gabba? Sorry, at GMHBA?
I was going to say at the
Gabba. Not at the Gabba. You know what I mean.
Yeah, I've been to one, and it was a pracky, and it was just ridiculous. Like, they're calling ball after 2 seconds of us grabbing it. So, no, I don't really go to those sort of games. Sorry, the missus just brought the bubs in, so this is going to be a tricky potty to do. So just bear with me. If anything goes nuts, I'll let you know.
All good. I'll smash through a few of these. You do what you got to do. Get rid of the sub rule. Have 5 on the bench. Less rotations. Now I'll rather keep the rotations. I think they work okay. Gets a lot more of the younger players into the game too. I think if they get rid of the rotations, it's going to end up forcing a lot more of the established players to play a lot more, and you'll get a lot less debutants because they'll need that run through the VFL. Still have TDK. Should I jump across to Jackson? Look, TDK is a bit cooked. So if you can grab Jackson, why not? We took Windsor over, mate. Ben, we took Dersma over Dan Curtin. So yeah, it's hurts me every time. No Watson, no Dan Curtin. Boy, oh boy. Coaches want the sub gone. Hope they stop giving warnings for the 666. There you go. Corey's looking at Banks or Fletcher potentially as people to have next year. Interesting.
Yeah, Fletcher's a good one. Especially if Zorko retires, you'd want to go Fletcher if Zorko hangs up the boots.
Do you reckon he will? Do you reckon Zorko will be like, cool, one more year? Because it's weird. I don't think I've seen any Zorko injury news or things like that compared to what we've had the last couple of years. You know, Tom Stewart always gets injured, things like that, but Zorko has had injury concerns or had time off. He might go around again, Brad.
Well, I think if they win the flag, I reckon he will hang up the boots. But if they don't win the flag, I reckon he's ready enough to, go another year. He's pretty greedy to run, 60 metres for a kick in, so he's going to go another year if they don't win another flag.
That's fair too. That's fair. Broads. How you going, Broads? Good luck this weekend. Supercoach pains me. See North taking Dersma over Curtin. Big J, when are we going to be relevant again? Mate, I don't know. I could go on for North Melbourne for the next 20 to an hour to 2 hours talking about how bad the team is and whatnot. You know what, bros? When we have the balls to delist or trade a few of our established older players, cut players who are in the team because they're good enough to be in the team, but not the ones to take us to finals, I think that's when we'll start to see some real improvement, to be honest. Guys like Luke McDonald, guys like Simpkin are serviceable, but they're just serviceable. And because they're the best players that we've had, we're stuck with feeling like, oh, they must-haves in the team. But I don't know how many teams that would be like, hey, Luke McDonald, we want you there. Hey, Simpkin, we want to trade a first-round pick for you, even though you're a captain. It's a bit rough.
No one definitely wants McDonald, but Simpkin I can see, maybe in your top 4 side, maybe give you a bit of spark, but he's just so inconsistent, isn't he?
It feels like he's consistent. He gets touches, but his disposal efficiency is not great, and his decision-making in clutch moments isn't good. Like, I'm really... I brought this up, I think, on Big Footy or Facebook or Twitter a while ago, saying, like, 3 or 4 years ago, it was us, it was Adelaide, it was Essendon and a Hawthorn kind of around the same. 2020, we're all going into COVID, rebuilding the sides and stuff.
Yep.
Look where the other teams have gone. They're winning a bunch of games. They're doing very well. It's the same thing now, where it's us, it's West Coast, and it's Richmond. Maybe a St Kilda or someone's coming into that soon. And I already see the improvement in your team compared to the start of the year to now. I already see how good it's been, you guys getting a few first-round picks and stuff like that, offloading some of the established players, but maybe not the guys to take you to finals next year or finals in the future, getting good picks for them. You guys will leapfrog us in the next year, 2 years, 3 years, taking wins off good teams, and we'll still be turning our feet in the mud. It's a tough position to be in.
The key takeaway to that, Big J, was we got rid of Bolton for a few picks and also Rioli. So that's the difference, is they're willing to let go of these guys in their mid-20s or whatever and, give them a contract elsewhere to get some value back. But I think Jaden Short lands in that category as well. I think Short's got still a bit of currency if they wanted to go down that path. But they've also got to retire people like Prestia and McIntosh and, a few other players. We need Tom Lynch to go again, but it's definitely more of a list management sort of thing. And Clarko's got to be held accountable too for these decisions in the last couple of years. It can't just be the board, because at the end of the day, surely he's got a little bit of say of what players they draft in, obviously. So, it's a strange one.
Yeah, I think as well, there's been a bit of a case of boys club players who used to play at North Melbourne kind of getting picked up as coaching staff and whatnot. And, if you look at our coaching list, Lee Adams really hasn't done much. A bunch of the other guys haven't done much. They haven't really developed any players in the last little while. The fitness team, you look at a Richmond, you look at everyone else, first-year players come in. At the end of the season, they look bigger, for example. In the gym, they've gone hard. Our guys kind of have flopped. They haven't really done as much. So just a whole overall might be, things to change as well, I think.
Yeah, no, I get you.
There you go. Family stream, Brad. There you go.
Yeah, it is. He's actually just chilling at the moment, so I've been a little bit silent, but he's managed to chill out. So, it's been team to drop in 10 minutes.
That's cool. Talking about Richmond for a sec, where do you see your team now? Obviously, you've got North Melbourne's first-round pick, so congratulations there. Our gamble of trading that early. Whitlock's okay, but trading that early didn't really work out. And where do you see Richmond next year? Do you think you'll be around the mark or maybe a bit more kind of mid-teens position?
I think we'll be exactly where we are, this season. I think we'll be sort of that bottom 5 anyway, because the players we do get rid of end of the year, they're going to be our experienced players. So I think, we might win 5 to 7 games, max 7. But I just think we're in a rebuild still, and we're learning Uze's game style, and the young players need, at least 20 to 50 games to get, a hold of what's going on. But injuries aside, over the last 2 seasons, it's actually developed a few of these younger players a little bit quicker. Like we talk about Banks, Josias is trying to break into the side. He's used a sub multiple times. But I actually see a lot of good things coming with Richmond. I just think they need Tom Lynch to stay another year, because the impact he helps up forward with a Jonty Fall sort of key forward and all these other key position players we've brought in this season has been really valuable for those older key position players to also guide them instead of just sending all these kids into a side and getting belted every week. But I'm actually really happy as a Tigers fan of what they're doing and which way they're going. It's just hard as when you do get belted, it is a hard watch, and you sort of sit there going, what am I doing this for? But you do it because you bleed for the team.
Yeah, definitely. I think as well, not to bash on North too much, but you watch Tigers fans, and I think maybe just because you've had the premierships the last few years and whatnot too, your fans are up and about at the games, that you still play an exciting brand of football even though you're getting beaten by, 60, 70 points or whatever it is, versus just making fumbling mistakes, I think, is a big difference. We'll see what happens. You've still got guys like Smiley coming through. Still got a few others too. And, like I said, a couple of first-round picks. So, boy, oh boy. Who leaves at the end of the year? You want, what's his name? Just get in my head. Tom Lynch. You're keeping Tom Lynch, you reckon?
I want him, yeah.
Who's gone? Who's gone, do you think, at the end of the year?
Preston's got to go. McIntosh has got to go. Samson Ryan is the shittest player in the AFL. He's got to go.
We'll end up at North Melbourne.
Oh, geez. You wouldn't even want him, not even to back up Teak or anything like that. They're the main three players, and then I couldn't really tell you the others. I don't know what's going to happen with our squad, but if I see McIntosh sign another year, I'll be so pissed off because that's a waste of space in terms of our development for their kids.
Yep. Yeah, not fair. Fair enough. Broads is saying here, totally agree with the players Big J listed. The fact that I was asking myself, would players such and Griffin Logue as well. He'll have one good game and 5 crappy games. And, he got a couple of touches, he did something, but decision-making and whatnot. We always seem to pick up the B-grade players that aren't very good at teams. And, they're happy to get the picks that we trade them for. So, North should look at trading, delisting Dersma, McDonald, Simpkin, Tucker. Well, I think a lot of those are gone as well. Velo. Dersma probably stays one more contracted year. I think the other ones are gone. There's probably a couple of guys like Bergman as well, who's perpetually injured. That will be gone too. Brad, what are we getting if we trade CCJ back to you? Is that a contract at the end of the year? He's done his tenure at North Melbourne. What are we getting?
Probably a 4th round pick. Same with Ivan Soldo. Like, we got rid of him for a 2nd round pick, and he's been nowhere near cited. So, they're probably worth a 3rd, 4th round pick and, a steak knife, and that's it.
Mate, I would have taken like a 4-20 pie at the next footy game. You guys are giving away good picks for him, mate. It's
Speaking of which, Big J, we've got a player that actually could, hold Ryan's beer called bloody Jacob Kaczynski. He's the worst freaking AFL player I've seen as well, along with Ryan.
Well, there you go. I mean, he's tall. He's got 2 arms and 2 legs, and he's tall. And he's out of favour at another club. So that's like the 4 things that we're looking for in a trade-in player. I'm sure he had one good game against North Melbourne a couple of years ago. That qualifies him for a 1st-round pick and, $800K contracts to come to the club. So,
mate, now
this year, you're getting something out of him.
This year, Big J, you North guys can't be, saying that you want compensation picks for how bad it's been going.
Nah, definitely. I mean, what do you think about West Coast asking? Are they justified now or one more year? Because I know that's been a bit of a talk at the moment.
I might get a bit of hate for this, but I don't think it's justified in any certain club. I think you just got to, go the hard way, and just doesn't matter. Just every team goes to these rebuild periods. I mean, unless the side's been sitting on the bottom ladder for 10 years, then it makes a little bit more sense. But I think 9 times out of 10, it's probably irrelevant because we see, the next season that they normally, generally speaking, improve. You guys got a talented list, but as you said, you just bring in too many B players and don't get rid of the B players that you have had on your list because they've got, they've got credits in the bank, so they're there for no reason, basically.
Yeah, not fair. If they had to, I think maybe one more year. Feels bad that Harley's in the balance and now they're asking for priority picks and whatnot. I've heard some talks similar to what North Melbourne had a couple of years ago, where we got a couple of additional rookie listed spots, and maybe that allows them to keep a senior player or 2 that would normally be delisted. That might be able to help. I think I would go for that as some form of package assistance, but not another 1st, 2nd round pick. They'll get decent compensation if Oscar Allen decides to leave too. So yeah,
and Reed's not worth $2 million.
League too much. Gonna go.
Reed's not worth $2 million a year. It's absolute BS. I don't mind watching West Coast, but Harley's the reason why he comes to the footy club. So you obviously want to re-sign him, but he's not worth $2 million. That's absolute shit house.
Well, I mean, I don't think TDK is worth 1.7. I don't think Naz. Maybe Naz is worth 1.8 if you have to, but some of these contracts are just going bananas.
Yeah, they don't make sense, to be honest. The most you're going to pay up for is probably, your Dacos and Butters sort of players. But I don't understand why we pay up so much for Ruckman anyway sometimes. I get they're, one of many, but we see teams like the Cats win flags without even Ruckman. You're playing freaking Reece Stanley. Why are these guys on big coin? Sometimes I just don't understand it.
Yeah, or not bashing on Nank, but I mean, Nank wasn't the best Ruckman when you guys won the few flags as well. So as long as you're solid and you play, I think, yeah, as you're saying, it's not bad. Thoughts
So,
on Stephen May getting the 3 weeks?
I didn't even know he got the 3 weeks, but yeah,
Yep.
it's so hard to slow down the game though. Like it's probably 3
Mm.
weeks judged on character and how he's been handled over the last few years and what he does. But yeah, I don't know. I've never been really clear on how they, govern the rules for um, tribunal because they always seem to be inconsistent, and that's one thing that pisses me off as an AFL fan in general. I'm sure it would grind your gears too.
Mm. I think for myself, I would put May in the same realm as Tristan Cherry. Obviously being a North fan and whatnot, but time when you're running at someone doesn't slow down, it kind of speeds up sometimes. So I'm not a fan of the 0 or minimum 3 weeks for a knockout. There's got to be some form of, hey, this is what's actually happened in there, and fans ask for punishment, but yeah, just kind of how it works.
Can you take them both with you? Sorry, the missus has brought the German Shepherd puppy in as well, so I am multitasking to the max, trying to make sure.
Hey, and animal. Here we go. Rich will keep Kalina on the list. He wasn't highly rated at one point, I guess.
Wow.
Kaczynski kicked 5 in that practice match against North, and he wasn't a Supercoach option. Yeah, I remember that year as well. TDK not worth 1/3. Pats pay in paper bags and farms. I guess kind of the theory was West Coast used to pay in Hungry Jack's sponsorships and franchises and stuff as well at one point. So not North Melbourne, everyone who signs up seems to get a Mazda. I think that's the same with everyone else. But yeah, it's the way it works, right?
Yeah, I think we give them a Jeep, don't we? Or we did. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that's most sides that have a car sponsor give them some sort of car. Every time I've watched training videos anyway, they normally roll up in those sort of cars. Why wouldn't you?
That's the way. Apparently TDK is 1.8 million. So there you go. Bananas. Who the fuck is that Shrimp Pro? What's good, fellas? Coach, how you doing, mate? It's been a good day.
Yeah. Oh. He's talking about, I did a potty with, you'd probably be aware of Shorty Supercoach. Yeah, I did a potty with him a fair while back, and I got this shrimp comment, and anyway, went viral sort of thing, and I'm going to have to make a move.
Shrimp Pro. Maybe that could be a name of the team next year. There you go.
Yeah, good idea, actually.
So, haven't been on a drive home yet. We'll go through the teams, chat about who do you think, and then we'll put our tips in as well. I think I've done mine off air already, but we'll kind of get your thoughts. Who do you think it will be? Things like that. So, the other games should be popping up pretty soon. Got Hawks versus Carlton this week. Carlton does have the double. I hesitate to call them the Twin Towers because they've both fallen at certain times and crashed out and whatnot as well. But the Twin Towers are back for Carlton. Will Day's back, so nice to see that. Finn McGuinness injured. Blake Acres, Harry Mackay, Evans out, obviously, and then Flynn Young out. We spoke a little bit before about Doherty's last game and whatnot. There's no way that Carlton wins this, right? Like, what has to happen for Carlton to win this game?
Paddy Cripps would have to play his heart and soul out like he did in that little, scene we saw on TikTok and whatnot. Or I mean, look, if Carlton win, it's probably going to be a close game, like that they win by. But if Hawthorn win and steamroll them, then it's 60-point plus game. So I'd love to see the boys win for Doherty because Doherty's probably been the most, heartfelt story of an AFL career of what he's beaten throughout the journey, and it's probably one player you wish actually got a flag at the end of the day. So I think he's done incredible. And I actually hope they win for him tonight, but I just can't see them pulling it off considering Hawthorn are, really trying to knock the door down now.
Yeah. On a bit of a side question, do you play game day?
No, I don't. If I was sponsored by them, I would.
Fair. No, that's fair. I mean, if I was sponsored by them, I'd do some videos on it too.
Yeah.
I just mentioned it. One of the most improved players, I think that's kind of come out of nowhere, is someone I found because of game day. Is Jack Ginnivan seems to have pulled his finger out a little bit, and best 1, 2, or 3 a lot of the time in Hawthorn's wins. So yeah, an interesting one there. Maybe one to watch this week. loves a bit of a push around and whatnot. I'm sad I didn't jump on Dylan Moore at 420k because he loves a goal and whatnot as well. Cheeky jump in. Yeah, bit of a good game. Good old Adam Chera. I'm hoping for 100 this week, but I think he's on the never again list for me.
I might use my last trade and get rid of him for Whitfield yet. I haven't decided that yet.
There you go. Now, this is a big one. Essendon versus Bulldogs. Goldstein's back. Fair enough. Nate Caddy's back. And the one, everybody's favourite, Saad El-Hawai's back. So some people now have some good bench cover. Yeah, he's back from his injuries. He's back in the team. It's interesting one there. Jed Busling is back. Oscar Baker's back. Jones out and Davidson out. Now, I'll tell you who I tipped, and then you tell me who you tipped. Had a bit of a talk at work, and I've actually ended up having to tip Essendon. Doggies going massive, or Sard back, everyone's back, no Liam Jones. Have they got a chance, Essendon, to win?
Oh, probably not, regardless of I don't hate Essendon, but I just don't think they got a chance against the Dogs anyway. I mean, yeah, there's no way, in my opinion.
Where is Sard named? He's not on the bench. He's named on the wing. There you go, named on field. So you might get a cheeky 80 points or something out of him this week for people that have got him. There you go. Yes, bench covers Sard. There you go, Hexerism. Done. Dogs by 70. Yeah, no, I think so as well. But Joe, if you're watching, mate, Sard's back. I know a few people. The DPP's been nice as well for some people there. So, yeah. Kako finally getting some half-decent Supercoach scores from him. I did tip Dogs. I do ESPN and AFL tipping. So, in the AFL tipping was the Dogs. In the work comp, I got suckered into picking Essendon. So, there you go. Giants versus Sydney. Do they say the derby? What do they say? The batch? What do they say? Battle of the Bridge?
Yeah,
Battle of the Sydney's Battle of the Bridge. So Hogan's back, Josh Kelly's back, Sam Taylor's back, massive ins for GWS. Gruitzky's out, Harry Roston's out. Wow, Lee Collier, the guy that's apparently worth $2 million, has been dropped. And I wonder if he said, hey, GWS, I'm leaving for that money. And then he's no longer in the team. So maybe that's what's happened, Pro.
Yeah, it could be. I always wonder at the end of the year why players get omitted. Like, have they signed with another team? Like, TDK is probably on the way up, and that's why they're playing him Pito, because they need afterlife of, what's going to happen without him. So I think writing's on the wall when you see weird moves like that you wouldn't expect during a season.
Yeah, the Carlton fans can let me know in the chat as well, but I have a feeling like Pitnet is also up for contract. So trying to figure out what's actually happening with him too. Papley's in, Francis is in, Ladhams is out, and if you still got Riley Bice, I don't know why you would. Riley Bice is out as well. Who's your pick for this game?
It's got to be Giants, you'd think. I'm being a little bit stereotypical. No upsets here, but yeah, Giants ins. They're just too good to lose to Sydney. So, yeah, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I have picked the Giants too. Those ins are just nasty. I mean, you've got their best goal kicker, probably what there would be their best defender in, close to their best midfielder. Cornelio's still playing, which is interesting because he's probably the first time he's had 2 games in a row in the past almost a year. Remember him in Supercoach. So, yeah, very, very nice there. Giants for the win. Sydney, without some major outs on the opposition, to probably struggle. Giants in, Ben saying there. Cox's favourite in Francis. Oh, there you go. Big J Pitto signed a 4-year deal 2 years ago, I believe. So 2 years left.
Wow.
Lucky for Pitnet. Who was it? Daniel Gorringe that said, hey, if you're tall and you play AFL, and you'll get a couple of extra years. So there you go. That's Mark Pitnet. Nick Holman's in for Gold Coast. Jai Farah, Davies, Weller, Sam Collins. Clahisi, Swallow, Jed Walcher, Bedden Jepson, who really didn't do much in his debut last week. Dan Rioli's out. Connor McKenna. Well, there you go. Connor McKenna's back. Oh, Paul Dane Zorko. We'll see what happens with him. Zach Bailey's in. Kyle Lohman's out. I know a few people have him as cover. And then Bruce Revell out. One thing I don't know, we were talking before about Lee Collier being dropped. Davies has actually come up in talks a lot this week as being a trade target. I wonder if him in the team's kind of like, hey, we can either make some extra money off this player, get a better pick, or hey, we want to play you so you don't want to leave. What do you reckon?
Probably playing for value, I'd say. Probably not going to keep him. If they were going to keep him, they would have given him an early game. So probably just a bit of trade value to say, hey, can you get 30 disposals and 10 tackles this week?
So then, hey, it makes it look better when we try and get a first, second, third round pick for you, I guess. Yep. Check it out. Where is Flanders? Is in, obviously. Ashcroft, I'm just trying to find this back line. All right. So Dane Zorko is obviously named, and then Connor McKenna is named on the bench. So, yeah. Pick for this game, Gold Coast versus Suns. Suns, I think, are like fourth on the ladder. Brisbane are not far behind. Who's your pick for today's game? Well, not today, but Saturday's game.
Yeah. I'm actually going to tip the Suns for this one.
Okay. Fair. I also have tipped the Suns. I think Brisbane at home are pretty strong. Gold Coast at home are pretty strong as well. I do think Suns at home are stronger than Gold Coast. So there you go. Davies off to the Cats. There you go. And then big Braden Pruce. I mean, Gold Coast and their funneling, I would not be surprised if they do some dodgy, hey, Geelong, we'll give you our first round pick alongside Davies, like they did with Bose. You give us a bunch of second, third, fourth round picks and we'll make the trade happen because they need the academy points, right? So could happen again, Brad.
Yeah, well, Bose has done stuff all, and I'm pretty sure they got Bruin that same year as well, but he's obviously out for a while.
Well, he might not come back. So
I wasn't
naughty boy. Naughty boy. Freo versus West Coast. Now, Erasmus Dudley back in. Cool. Corey Wagner, huge out for them. Loves a good tag. So versus West Coast doesn't matter too much. Johnson out. Archer Reed in. Elijah Hewitt in. For those people that still have him. I don't know who does, but people still have him. Jack Williams and Petrocelli out. I guess kind of the feeling is that Caleb Sarong's going to go massive. Jackson will dominate. Sean Darcy legacy game before he goes off to another club. And Freo by how many points, Brad? What's the call?
Jeez, unfortunately, probably about 75. But imagine an upset here. Imagine like the Wee Eagles actually getting the job done in a derby.
Yeah, that would be amazing. And they do a bit for getting Harley Reid to sign the contract. Hey, a few weeks ago, I traded out Clade Hall and kept Gross, and it's not been a good selection out of the two. But outside of that, yeah, doing okay. Nice to see Hayden Young playing an extra game too, because I know it's not been great.
You got to
Ben saying here.
You got to do your infamous. That sucks. You know what I mean? You got to do.
Yeah, there you go. I'll do that this week. No Clay Hall sad face on Twitter. Freo by 100. Ben sends here. Do you still have Simpson in your team? Or is Simpson...
I do. Yeah. Yep. I definitely do.
So
unfortunately,
I know there was some talk that potentially he might come back this week.
Maybe the waffle.
Yeah, I think so too. Bello saying here, Dorcas by 65, mate. You get some good money, Brad. If you've got a spare $2 on sports bet, chuck it on the Eagles. I think they're about $11 or something to win. So get yourself a Palmer on Monday, hey?
Yeah, well, I think I'll just keep the $2 and know that it's safe for the car wash.
not worth $2 the Eagles. Oi, oi, oi. Heading over to the last, what is that, Saturday? Second last Saturday game. North Melbourne. Geelong have no changes. Ouch. Robert Hanson Jr. in. Maley's in. Dersma's in. Everyone's favourite. Why is he not playing? Like myself, wish we didn't pick him selection. So hopefully it works out okay. Phillips out. Probably getting traded, dropped, whatever at the end of the year. Coleman Jones out, and then Cooper Harvey out with illness. So he's a bit of a miss, but I guess Dersma's in. Is there any world, Brad, where North Melbourne gets a win? Last time I watched this game, it was at the Gabba. I think we had 15 points at the end of the game. Is there any chance for us this week?
No chance. You're going to have to buy a 6-pack of toilet paper for this one. Or tissue paper,
rough.
Yeah, that is rough. That's a hard game to watch.
Yeah. Corey's saying here, why no goad? I don't think he's ready. He was playing forward this week in training as well. So there you go. Hexerism, we're going to lose by 50 plus. I think so as well. North Melbourne. Oh, West Coast. Bit of a rough one.
I didn't watch the week before. Who covered for Trish and Cherry? Was it Teakle and somebody else, or did Teakle not really do that? He played forward.
So the ins last week, Larky was out, who's also out again. No Larky this week. Larky was out. Cherry was out. Larky with the knee, Cherry with the suspension, obviously. CCJ came in, and then we had Teakle. So unfortunately, CCJ got injured in like the first 2 minutes of the game.
Okay.
It was Teakle and like Will Dawson, and then mix of like Jack Darling as well. They kind of all covered for Cherry. So yeah, bit rough.
Do you think Teakle would stay on the side when Cherry comes back, or Teakle's?
It's an interesting question. I would say probably not. I think there's a world where he does, but I don't think his forward game is good enough.
Yeah,
if Cherry was to come back next week, for example, a major trade would just be Teakle out, Cherry in. Dawson get some games. Jack Darling would still get games. I think Finbar potentially would get games as well. But Teakle's an okay ruck, but I don't think his game is that good anywhere else, and kind of just like coverage at this point. So yeah, it's I think that's probably just the in and out for us.
Yep.
Yeah. Nice to see Hardiman have a good season. O'Sullivan's done well. McKercher hopefully gets a bit more ball because I think he scored like a 60 in Supercoach. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. Last Saturday game, a big in for a few of us and a big out for me, which means I think I don't have 22 this week, which is, it is Supercoach, whatever happens. No changes for Adelaide. Connor Rosie in, McGinty in, Joe Berry in, Manny Liddy, the guy that got subbed on 14 or something last week. Dylan Williams out, and then Lorenz out. Bit of a tough game, this one, the derby down in Adelaide. This will be kind of your home, this time next year, you'll see a couple of them. I think the home team switch. You'll end up going down. Give us the live report from the stadium. Who wins this game?
Jeez, you're going to have to say Adelaide for sure for this one. I'm interested to go as a Tigers supporter and see if I can get my teeth knocked out is what I meant to say, because I'm probably stir up the crowd here and wear my Richmond gear. But yeah, I think Adelaide got this game in the bag, to be fair. You'd say the same form, you'd say, because, Ken's playing, but why is he even coaching anyway? He's not playing.
Well, that's it. Yeah, like I think once the succession plan comes in and they realize, hey, maybe we can't actually make finals. I don't know how much coaching Ken would be doing, or at least the smart coach wouldn't do. You'd say, cool, give yourself another 6 weeks, pretend to be a senior coach, Josh Carr, and then see kind of what happens with that. But I've tipped Adelaide. Connor Rosie in does help, but Adelaide on form is just so damn good at the moment.
Agreed.
I feel like Port's one of those teams where, similar to how Carlton are, in my eyes, where they've got maybe 8 really good players, and then the rest of them are guys that they're interchanging, trying to figure out the rest of them. Is that pretty fair? Like, Ali's there, but then Radigalia comes in. They've still got guys like, these bottom 4 players that still can't find a spot. Is that kind of how you feel with Port? They're figuring things out, or are they pretty set, 1 or 2 players every week, doesn't matter?
I feel like they're in a little bit of no man's land. Same with Carlton, which is that list. Like, they've got a lot of B and C grade players, interchangeable. Even St Kilda at times feel like Port Adelaide and Carlton selections. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like just teams this year, like, you can't get a gauge of some of these sides. I'd rather just be rebuilding completely than go for this middle shitty phase of, let's keep all these players that have got brownie points. And Port Adelaide feel that, that way with the players they've got in their side. Like, very questionable selections. Like, why are you still trying to go with Lukosius and other players? I know they got him from Gold Coast, but I don't know. I'm very confused as if I was a Port Adelaide fan. Just, you'd hope that the coaching next year is a little bit better than what it has been. I think they get to prelims and whatever, and then they choke anyway. And now this year they're finally hit a downhill slope and just, obviously not going to climb any time soon. You wouldn't think, just the list they've got.
Yeah, it's really big parallels between these two teams as well, where I think for the most part, Port's had a strong team, but then brought in a few really questionable B-grade players, close to A-grade players, Lukosius, Joe Richards from Collingwood, a few of these other guys, not Kane Farrell, like Zirk Thatcher, Alir, stuff like that. Whereas Adelaide's done the opposite. They brought in good players, but they've actually played and doing quite well. Jordan Dawson being one, Neil Bullen being another, Ben Keys being another, Rankin as well, pretty good player. A few more of these type of players. They're kind of a bit of a seesaw, right? One's done very well doing the same thing. The other one's not done very well doing the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, Port had their chance the last 5 years anyway, prior to all this shit. So, yeah, and you can't be there forever unless you're Sydney and Geelong, really, over the last, 2 decades.
Yeah, there you go. I've seen a couple of quotes on Twitter at the moment, so I just thought I'd read those out. Hanson Jr. for North Melbourne, promoted again off the back of 9 touches and 1 tackle in the VFL. So very, very promising VFL inclusion. Finbar Maley, okay, whatever. Phillips dropped after 17 touches and 2 tackles. 17 touches and 7 tackles last week. And Dersma promoted after 0 tackles in defense last week. So, yeah, don't think he'll play back, but interesting inclusions compared to a few other North Melbourne players who probably earned their spot.
Harvey looks good. Shame he's ill, but he looked unreal.
Yeah.
I watched him. He was bloody good.
Yeah, 100%. He's fighting for a contract as well, so it's nice to see him do okay.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, couple more games to go, and thank you very much, Brad, for jumping on. I don't know what you normally do on a Thursday night around team sheets time, but it's been amazing having you on. Good chats about footy and life and, kids and whatnot, so very, very happy. Your boys, Richmond versus Collingwood.
Oh.
Elgar in, Armstrong in, Steely Green, the man with the best name, Noah Bolter, don't get into a fight with him, and then Seth Campbell out, Membry, Mitchell, Dan Houston, Rohan Steele in, Bo McCreary out. We spoke about what North Melbourne needs to do to win. What does Richmond need to do to win? You've pulled a couple of these kind of wins out of nowhere against certain teams. What do you guys have to do to win this week? What needs to change? What needs to happen? Or is it kind of just a foregone? Carlton's lost the last 2. They need another win. Hey, we brought in the big guns.
We'll probably got to play fast off half back, I'd say. Just sort of run, carry, and if it hurts you on the other side, just who cares? You either get thumped by 70 or you get it a close game by just keeping attacking game style like they play. I don't know. It'd be interesting if we can get a good first quarter and actually get a bit of a jump. It might actually scare them and take the crowd out of it a little bit, but they'll just see it being a blowout on their side. I should be a lot more confident if Seth wasn't out of the side, but I'm pretty sure he's concussed. But if you told me that maybe he was playing and Tom Lynch was playing, I'd actually be pretty confident on a sneaky upset. But without Lynch there's no way there's going to be, 4 or anyone like that kicking 4 or 5. So our forward line's going to struggle against the Pies, and we won't tag. And Ross would have to go to Dacos to keep him to 25 possessions to actually really hurt, him out the midfield. So I just think we're 2 players short of giving him a little bit of a heart attack. So I just think a captaincy on Dacos is where it's at this week, because it's very unlikely that Uze would give a shit now to tag him, you would think, but he has been doing run with roles and actually keeping players quiet on that.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I think as well, like you're saying, if Tom Lynch was in, Darcy Moore would obviously go to him, and then it kind of takes away that extra player, takes away a bit of the intercept power and whatnot. Really only leaves one tall backman with Charlie Dean, I think, in the team too. So, yeah, bit of a mismatch. Unlucky there, I suppose, but good learnings for your boys. Heading over to St Kilda versus Melbourne, last game of the year. A couple of ins, but I don't think they will actually debut. We'll see what happens. Angus McLennan in.
Last game of the year?
Last game of the week. Last game of the sorry, my bad, everyone. Not last game of the year. Collingwood going to show very hungry this game. There you go. Collingwood by 70. Collingwood don't normally flog sides apart from North Melbourne. No personal reason for Bolter this week. There you go. I think he's finished all the personal reasons, Brad, for the rest of the year. If my
At least he shows a little bit of fight, but the wrong type of fight that we're looking at.
No, very, very true. McLennan in, Sharon Maker in, Collard in, Zach Jones in, probably won't play. Darcy Wilson out. I've seen a few trade talks. Hopefully Darcy Wilson, we'll see if he leaves or not. Tom Sparrow, Spargo, Howes, Jed Adams, Petty, Jai Cully in, Stephen May out, Sharp out, Colson, Thrallstrup out. And then Jed Adams and then Jai Cully. Is this the Jai Cully debut for Melbourne game?
It actually is, yeah. It's a weird one. He'd probably actually tear it up. But again, I know I was giving weird faces then. It's just that team looks so shit. Like the Melbourne side's questionable as well. Like they've just got no one bar their top three. And Clary is someone that they should have actually traded by now. I reckon he's done. It's literally gone Petrarca and then that's it.
It's crazy to think that out of two players, like Petty was a couple of years ago, Petty has regressed so much. Adelaide were going to give three first-round picks for Petty? It's bananas. Kicked a few goals in a final and did a couple of things, and then it just kind of fell off a cliff.
Yeah, actually, Josh is right there. I forgot about Cozzy, just because I don't like watching him against head-to-head matchups. Every time I have a head-to-head in Supercoach, he's the guy. He's probably actually better than years. So, yeah, I forgot about him because I'm trying to block him out of my brain, Joshua. So I apologise for that one. Cozzy's probably best.
Yeah, no, definitely. Melbourne are a bit of a shell of their former self. I think there's a few players there. What about the talk that they're apparently trying to get Joe Danaher out of retirement to come and play at the club for a couple of years?
Oh, that's ridiculous. I think you guys hear more than what I do. I'm under a rock when it comes to all these random news, and then it spurts through between you and Steve that I've heard nothing about, but maybe because I got a bubs and stuff, so I'm pretty tied up when it comes to info like that.
Yep. Yeah, it's a bit weird. It always seems to be these teams at this point in time. You know, there's 5 weeks left of the season. Clubs have already worked out. I mean, you guys will have well. Who's been traded, who's not. And then random players out of their time. And I've heard North and Cyril Rioli talks as well at some point. So we'll see what happens with that. But, yeah, it's just a weird one. I have picked St Kilda to beat Melbourne today. Who's your selection?
Oh, yeah. St Kilda by at least 45 on this one.
Yeah, I think so as well. I'm predicting Naz big game. Taru has been fantastic. I mean, we got Foss, but Taru in would have been exceptional for us because I pick it big game. Gawn versus Marshall's always a big one as well. So, yeah, should be a good enough game to watch, I think. Melbourne just need to fix a few of their team members.
I think I've seen a lot of C. Gawns for some reason too, so must have good history against Marshall, but yeah, I don't know. I just think this week, all in all, if I had any player, it'd be captaining Dacos this week and VCing Bont or Grundy.
There you go. Couple more questions here. We're no good at Marvel Velo. Less than 0% chance Danaher comes out of retirement. Chubby Joe's a better chance to come and play for Melbourne instead of Joe Danaher. There you go. Joe, if you're watching, you're a better chance. Locked in, Joe. Locked in. Is there any latest news while we're here? Probably another 10 minutes to go, guys, and then we'll head off. No watching the game. Joe's been watching the game on Thursday nights the last couple of weeks. So are you going to do AFLW fantasy, Ben? Sorry, not Ben, Brad.
Unfortunately not. I don't watch any of that sort of games from that. I'll be doing EPL fantasy.
Okay,
but
yep.
You know, I'll be doing that content, but other than that, mate, I'll probably steer clear of anything. What about yourself?
I have done it the last couple of years. Did all right 2 years ago. Got a hat, the 39th ranked in the game at that point. So that was a bit of fun.
Did 30 people play that one? Big J?
Maybe 38. Maybe 38 people played. You know,
Yeah,
or could be 40, and then I just beat one person. I think Long and McDonald are subs. So there's been some talk that Bailey, I think it's Bailey McDonald or Connor McDonald might be a bit disjointed. Maybe McKenzie as well. So there you go. McDonald and Lord are the subs. AFLW needs to hurry up for us North fans. There you go. It is an interesting time there.
That's saying something, Big J, if you guys are hanging out for that.
Hey, we went undefeated last year. We won every game and then won the grand final. So, you know.
I couldn't even tell you one play. How many games did they play a year anyway? 10 or something?
Last year was a weird one. They did, I think they played 11 or 10 games last year. And it was a weird one where they had some teams had a double bye or some teams played 2 games in the same week. So they might play on a Tuesday or a Monday and then on the weekend as well. The following, it was just weird stuff, man. It was just weird things. But you know, it is what it is, right?
I'm looking forward to the EPL fantasy, and I know you probably couldn't care too much about that sort of thing, but that will keep me posted for 38 weeks, so pretty much all of off-season footy. So. But the videos and the live streams will be a lot shorter doing EPL because I'm not a huge knowledgeable person when it comes to EPL. I just follow Chelsea, but more of a casual fan. So my team's going to be so random and probably get a lot of stick for some of the players I pick. But I'll be looking forward more so to doing off-season content for Supercoach with some people, even yourself and whatnot. And just, I don't know, it's hard doing preseason stuff before January, you'd think, wouldn't you?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's always hey, this is the locks players, these are the other things like that. But it's an interesting one. I think kind of as we've definitely found with round 0 the last couple of years has been preseason content doesn't matter. Round 0 ends up dictating half our teams, which is where we got Perryman, Jaden Short, and a few others that came in. So we can do as much as we can, and then it's that. I have actually jumped on the EPL train at the moment. I've got my team, $100 million, which seems a bit sus. I don't know where there's all this money coming from.
This looks like you're going to bounce, takings from YouTube after, the lives and men.
Why not?
That's why Big joke.
Why not? Is there any, I guess, have you done EPL before?
Yeah, but in other formats, and then I normally forget by halfway through the season. But because I got a channel, I'm obviously going to remember. But I've only got one lock, and that's obviously Cole Palmer because I'm a Chelsea man. So yeah.
Where does he play?
Midfield.
All right. Is he any good, or is it like
He's
EA?
COLE.
Oh no, I'm on goalkeeper. Whoop. Sorry, Cole Palmer. He's good. $12 million. There you go.
He's expensive,
I think everyone ends up picking Mo Salah. It's kind of a good. Yeah, I've heard he's pretty good. And maybe like a Haaland, I've heard is okay at this game.
Did you say
he's okay. He's not shabby. And then half my money's gone. So it is like Supercoach when you pick Gorn, Grundy, and Bont and Butters. Filling it up with 400k players in every other position. So it's going to be an interesting one, interesting watch.
Yeah, definitely. So you going to do any content for that, or you just going to just do your AFLW thing?
I might make a team and just have some fun, but it's it's too much. We'll do AFLW content and stuff because it's a lot closer to home, I think. But it's just too much,
I might make an AFLW team just to win the Hilux or whatever car it is, but other than that, I'll just go by averages and percentages.
That's all you need to do, man. It's one of those Supercoach, not so much, but AFLW, just because people don't know as many of the players' names and whatnot, you can get away with just going, cool, top percentage picked players. Let's just go bunch of guys in, or girls, obviously, and then go from there, really. Make your changes and whatnot and see what happens. So,
You never know, though, when you say girls or guys and stuff. Like the testosterone that those women play in is nuts. Like they tackle harder than the men half the time and actually stick a tackle, which is one thing that
and
I've
don't
noticed.
complain about it. They don't
Yeah,
normally
true.
complain about it as much either. Yeah.
They go pretty hard, that's for sure, when they do play.
There's no protected DACOS species really I found in AFLW. So you've got a few players that will get 20 tackles in a game, but there's no like, oh, you touch this player and free kick to the other team. It's just like get in there and go crazy. So yeah, works out all right. Hexerism saying here Rodri. I don't know where Rodri plays for, but Rodri's apparently a lock. So yeah, it should be a fun one. Just keep an eye out. Have you been? Do you have Disney Plus?
Nah, I don't. I've been playing PS5. It's a game called Ready or Not.
Fair enough. I was going to say, all I know about football is just watching Welcome to Wrexham on Disney Plus. So yeah, that's been a good show to kind of keep up with and stuff as well.
I thought you were going to say bend it like Beckham.
Yeah, that too. All right, guys. No, I've lost Brad. There you go. That might be us for today, guys. Have a great day. Have a great time. Thanks for jumping on this episode of The Drive Home. Brad, any final words before you head off?
No, mate. Just go with the Tigs, and thanks for having me on, and I'm sure I'll do stuff with you guys throughout the seasons.
Mate, 100%. Guys, AFLW starting up again soon. Team review out on Monday. Members live stream out on Tuesdays. And then Joe will be back next Thursday. Because here at the Centre Bounce, we do the hard work so you guys don't have to. I spend all my trades, and then you guys just get to see me think about next year for the next couple of weeks. So
Big J as well. Just give myself a plug here. Anyone who doesn't know, I've got my own channel called Supercoach Pro. And then on Twitter, I'm Supercoach Pro 91. So obviously I do YouTube content with Supercoach AFL, that is. I do weekly lives normally on a Sunday night. So for anyone not following me at the moment, you've just found me through Centre Bounce and Big J, just go onto the channel, click sub, and you'll get notified.
100%, guys. Brad is awesome. Has a couple of interesting takes, but will call me out on the bad trades and whatnot, and that's what we love. We can't all have the same team and make the same mistakes every week, which is that's why there's a winner and a loser in Supercoach, right?
I do like to stir the pot, so if you ever do see an auto drive by, it's all in good fun with me. So I do that to pretty much everybody. So I'm glad you caught on with that.
Hey, no dramas there. We'll catch you in the next one, fellas. See you later.
Thanks, boys. Cheers. Thanks, Big J.